Hi all, Jin here, and I'm sorry for the delay on the video, but it's here now. The how to play for both Vaan and Gabranth. I will be going over their kit, EX Plus and LD, along with Vaan's PT and my thoughts and recommendations while taking them into the event challenge quest afterwards. As usual, in the pinned comment are timestamps for easy navigation, as well as a link to my full playlist for all the how to play vids I've done. So I know a few people mentioned this to me when these were first announced, and definitely literally the first thing I did before pooling or anything else was free my selfie with the reset sphere. We only get 3 free, but that's enough for me. I don't think I'll be making that mistake too often. And I finally don't feel the weight of her Brave Plus attack. As for my pools, I thought mine were pretty good until I watched other content creators and their raid up pools or Sfoina. But literally after a dupe Balthier EX, I was able to snag Gabranth's EX in just under 100 tickets, which was my main goal. I was planning to then go to 150 for more dupes, just to save Power Stones, as well as a chance at Vaan's LD, which I did end up getting by my 120 tickets, so definitely zero complaints from me, but I am still burstless. Okay, on to the actual point of this video. As mentioned in my Detailing how to play vid, for characters moving forward, I will assume maxed weapons and boards so that it will be more clear what all skills do at their best without listing how everything improves from an EX Plus or 3-3. So if you're curious what each limit break of everything does, specifically you can check out Discia.db by Rem. Alright, now onto Gabranth's base kit. His skill 1, Circle of Judgment, is a 4 AoE Brave single target HP attack with 200% overflow. It will grant himself the unique party aura buff, Judge Magister, for 6 turns, which he'll already start with at the beginning of the quest. That gives party attack and max Brave up of 50% while reducing Brave damage received by 30%. While this buff is up, any enemy that attacks anyone in your party, whether it be with a Brave or HP attack, will get applied to 2 unique debuffs. Criminal's Mark, which lowers enemy attack by 20% with a poison of 40% eye brave, along with Judgment, which lowers enemy brave by 20%. Both of these will be applied to all enemies at the start of each wave, so if the enemies are already inflicted with Criminal's Mark, he will also apply a generic 20% attack and defense down debuff with his skill 1. This is to set up the enemies with potentially 4 debuffs, and when an enemy has 4 debuffs, Criminal's Mark debuff will be upgraded to the unique debuff Outlaw's Brand, which is a 40% attack down, poison of 80% eye brave, and they will take 10% additional HP damage. Alright, now finally onto skill 2, Guilt, which is a brave gain of 20% max brave into a 6 brave HP attack with 195% overflow and 20% splash. If the target has upgraded debuff Outlaw's Brand applied, skill 2 can either insta-break them or re-break them with splash being upgraded to 50%. His EX ability, Quickening, which is a beautiful animation by the way, is a 5 brave HP attack with 160% overflow and 20% splash that is executed 3 times, with a 20% brave gain of total HP damage dealt after the first 2 HP dumps. Similar to skill 2, if a target has Outlaw's Brand unique debuff, the EX can insta-break or re-break, with splash being also upgraded to 50%. And similar to his skill 1, it also grants himself the unique buff Judge Magister for 6 turns as well, so you don't only need the skill 1 to reapply this buff. With this buff up, he gets 3 Brave hit Brave plus plus and an HP plus plus that is a 3 Brave HP attack with 120% overflow. Both will inflict the 2 generic debuffs of 20% attack and defense down. His C65 and C70 will give an additional 20% attack when targeting debuff enemies, along with a party HP damage reduction of 40% for 3 turns. It has a total of 2 uses. His B Sphere reduces party brave damage taken by 10% for 3 turns whenever dealing a critical hit, so it's pretty easy to upkeep it all the time, which is great for him and makes his party aura increase to a total of 40% brave damage reduction at all times. So whether you want to further increase his or give more utility to other B-slot characters is up to you. Don't give it to someone like Snow though, who already takes like 0 brave damage and locks enemies. It will of course still help reduce the party brave damage taken for all attacks, but it's more wasteful than not. As for Gabranth's A slot, he definitely would benefit from more attack, and his E slot as well. I would consider giving him an additional debuff that isn't attack or defense down though, which he can proc, so that if an enemy is immune to one of those 2 debuffs, he can still get to 4 debuffs on his own. Also, don't forget all characters moving forward, if you don't want to use their original sphere on themselves, you can still craft the lesser version to put it on them. For arts, definitely go with 3 108s first, then C50s as secondaries if you can, since C50s give a nice plethora of boosts when an enemy has his unique debuff applied. That includes 5% up to attack, max brave, eye brave, and defense. Max brave 330 is a decent third option of course, since it helps his brave gain on skill 2 and just general overflow limit. But with his multiple HP dump EX and the extra attack, eye brave, and defense bonuses from C50, my choice would be go with C50s. My arts are a work in progress, but definitely not bad at all. So how to play Gabranth. He is a unit where you're constantly wanting to upkeep 4 debuffs on the enemies so that they will have his upgraded debuff Outlaw's Brand. Therefore, if no other team member applies at least 2 more debuffs, you would want to start with his skill 1 to apply the 2 additional generic debuffs to all enemies. Don't forget you can refresh these 2 debuffs with his HP++ or Brave++. After that you will want to upkeep 4 debuffs at all times of course, and then I'd prefer to use his skill 1s when needing to shave AoE, and his skill 2 when a target is already broken for the re-break. But if you're in trouble and need an instant break, then of course use his skill 2 as well. Keep in mind his EX can refresh his skill 1 buff also, and can also insta break or re-break as well, and you'd ideally want to use his EX at high brave amounts for the most damage so that his follow-up abilities have more brave refund. Use his AA more for its HP damage reduction than the attack boost, so when you know a damaging HP attack is coming, like generally before recast abilities, it is a good time to use it. Do try to weave in his HP++ when you can, generally when he's at higher brave, to conserve his skills when needed. And that leads me to his cons. He only has 15 ability uses with a normal charging EX, so his longevity is an issue if you're not using HP++, which isn't that amazing either. His only AoE Brave Shave ability is his skill 1, and unlike Vayne, he can't break a target then re-break them again with skill 2. His need to maintain 4 debuffs can be troublesome at times, especially for enemies that cleanse debuffs, since he has no way to apply debuffs without an enemy acting first either, and since by default he can only apply 4 debuffs if any enemy is immune to generic attack and defenses down, which both are also low potency, he must rely on teammates to help out with the additional debuffs to get himself to 4 debuffs. Alright, onto his pros though. He does dish out some pretty decent damage in a variety of ways, via Splash, AoE Brave Shave, or his 3-time hitting EX. He has pretty decent party auras that are all in one unique buff on himself, with attack and max brave up 50% and brave damage reduction up 30%. His total debuff potential on his own for enemies is 60% attack down, 20% defense and max brave down, poison of 80% eye brave, while increasing HP damage taken by 10%. This can obviously be stacked with many other debuff units as well, and combined with his additional ability, he reduces all enemy attacks by both neutering them along with general party protection. His 2 unique debuffs are just naturally refreshed as well, as long as enemies take turns, so it's not something you have to pay attention to too much either. And last but not least, both his skill 2 and EX can either insta-break an enemy or re-break them, so both are useful in delaying or shaving large amounts of brave. So my final thoughts on Gabranth: he is an amazing utility unit that has pretty decent party auras, can neuter enemies and protect your party while increasing HP damage dealt for everyone. He is a great unit to slot into many team comps with only taking 1 buff slot total on himself, and just needing to avoid party members with more than 4 unique debuffs. If you pair him with someone who inflicts 2 unique debuffs, then you won't have to worry too much about upkeeping his upgraded debuff. Give him a battery to make better use of his HP++, and he'll do just fine for you as a party-wide protector of sorts. Alright, now on to Vaan, who just got his LD and BT. I only have his LD, but I will go over his BT as well, and just a quick review of all his skills since most of you are already familiar with what he does. Both his skill 1, Red Spiral of 4 brave non-elemental HP attack, and skill 2, White Whirl of 4 brave wind elemental HP attack need to be used once first to unlock their follow-up hits. Whiteout of 5-hit Ice Elemental HP attack, and Luminescence of 5-hit Holy Elemental HP attack respectively, and both skills need to be used a total of 5 times to unlock their plus versions. His skill 1 grants him attack up 60% for 8 turns, has overflows of 140% and refunds 35% HP damage dealt after both HP dumps. His skill 2 grants him 50% max brave up for 8 turns, has overflows of 170% and refunds 60% HP damage dealt only after the first HP dump. White Whirl will apply 5 turns of 45% defense down, and its follow-up Luminescence will have a high chance of inflicting blind. Their plus versions of both skills have increased overflows and brave gains, and grant his unique buff Flight to Freedom for 16 turns, which he does start the quest with for 8 turns that gives him attack up 40% and brave regen of 40% eye brave. With this buff he also gets a 3 brave hit brave plus and an HP++, which is a 2 brave hit HP attack with 150% overflow. His EX ability, Pyroclasm, which is at its double plus version if you have his unique buff up, is a 8 brave hit HP attack with 195% overflow and 50% splash, while refunding him 60% brave HP damage dealt. His LD ability, Earthen Eruption, is an 8 AoE brave split HP attack with 200% overflow that grants himself the unique buff Mist for 3 turns, which grants him a free ability use, outside of his LD of course, and keep in mind it can't be extended either. So with 3 total uses of his LD, excluding from his burst, he pretty much gets 9 extra base ability uses, because they knew his biggest weakness before was his longevity. And speaking of his burst, Calamitous Orb is a 12 brave HP attack that can break the brave damage limit by 250% and the HP damage limit by 300%. His burst effect that lasts for 4 turns after grants the entire party the ability to retain 20% of their max brave at all times, allowing your party to go ham without much worry of getting broken, along with a decent brave starting point as well each turn. His C65 ability is 3 uses of a brave gain of 100% attack, with an attack up of 20% for 2 turns. His sphere is pretty simple, it gives him attack up 10% when HP is max, but it does kind of suck a little bit since he has no healing ability of his own, but you'd probably pair him with a healer generally anyways. His wants are simple, for both his spheres and attack, just give him attack, with Max Brave being a secondary. For arts, Mighty White Whirl would be a third option after attack and Max Brave, although you want 3 108s first and then try to get Max Brave as much as possible as second, with 170s being a distant fourth for his Brave regen. Obviously mine is quite beautiful. I'm always so satisfied when I get 3 108 330s for a character that actually wants them. Also, don't forget to get his World of Illusion weapon for only 10 weapon tokens. It's very useful for him. Grants attack and Max Brave up 20% for 6 turns after breaking an enemy. You can unequip his speed passives if you so desire to also fit his World of Illusion weapon passive. So Skybound and high speed buff you can consider removing. Alright, so how to play Vaan. You will generally want to start out with his skill 1 for his attack buff. That will give him Brave Refund also, then go into his skill 2 that gives him his max Brave buff and also Brave Refunds as well, so you won't have to worry much about breaks to start off. Once you have done the initial uses of his 2 skills, then you will now have their follow-up attacks, and it depends on the length of the fight how you proceed from here. For a shorter aggressive fight, go straight into his LD and spam his skill 2 3 times. Generally, your free skill use from LD will always be on his skill 2, which not only debuffs and blinds the enemies, it also hits harder. For longer fights, after the first initial 2 skill uses, you can HP++ from your skill 2 Brave Refund, then go into his EX, then his LD after, so that you're not forced to ignore his EX ability for too long after his LD. After your 3 free skill uses of skill 2, your EX would obviously be up again, but after that, you can use his skill 2 again to unlock his plus version, so that the next time you can use his LD, it will be already at its plus version. The next time you use his 2 LD uses is really up to you when you want to burst down more with his skill 2 and or need to shave multiple enemies at the same time since it's only AoE Brave Shave. I generally prefer to dump my EX prior to LD so that I'm not sitting on the EX for too long, but it does depend on the situation. In regards to how to play during his burst, similar to other BTs, generally just use it in the last 1/3 of the fight, but early enough to make use of the full burst effect. Definitely use his AA prior to going into the burst, and if you're able to go in with his plus version of skill 1 even better, but it's not necessary. So you do want to start with the skill 1 that grants Brave Refund for going into his skill 2, then his EX which can then cap on its own that gives Brave Refund for going into his HP++, then finish it off with his LD and then BT. So then now after you're done with your burst, you have the additional free uses from his LD buff. Using his LD early on in his burst is pretty wasteful unless you plan to spam skill 1, which will do the most damage, but since the LD buff still goes down during the bursts, and every skill is free inside the burst anyway, so what I suggested is what I consider the ideal way to add to his longevity, and since it maintains all his buffs, and you have way more skill 2s to spam outside as well. Alright, so pros for Vaan. Well, if you have his full kit, he's a freaking monster. The burst adds to his longevity as well, obviously, making him a nuke that can last rather than just fizzle out like before. All his skills deal insane damage with great Brave Shavings with the follow-ups, along with both his skill 1 and EX giving great Brave Refund to avoid breaks and set up his next damage. And as mentioned, his burst effect allows your party to become nearly unbreakable while going ham during his duration. Vaan also has a pretty decent defense down debuff, and his blind debuff, which you can apply a lot from his free skill 2 uses, can come in quite handy. But that leads me to his cons. That's pretty much all he's there for, damage upon damage upon damage, which will be reduced if he has any issues with his 4 elements in the fight, since he doesn't imperil for himself either. His requirements for 5 skill uses of his skills to gain their plus versions, which only have 6 uses, is pretty ridiculous, so you pretty much can only use his plus version of skill 1 once, or twice max if you have his burst, since his free skill uses should be used on his skill 2 anyways. The LD is literally his only AoE Brave Shave as well, so you might be forced to use it before you want to, and the blind debuff, although very useful, can never, or rather should never be relied upon. So my final thoughts on Vaan: a huge nuke of a magic damage dealer. If you got his full kit along with Shantoto's, they actually make a terrific team for him to bypass or just lessen his resistances, since she can imperil for all of his elements. They would just need a 3rd support unit with ideally Brave Regen and or Battery, but he wouldn't exactly need her outside of content where he has free roam, or just bring in a Parallel Enchanter for one of his elements that he's resisted for anyways, and you have a freaking nuclear missile. Okay, finally we can move on to the challenge quest, which is, yes, very cancerous indeed. I do have a fully boarded, fully built team, minus Vaan's burst. I even have them fully costumed. Boy, I wish they sold costumes separately, since it's pretty steep just to remove Gabranth's helmet and clothe Vaan. But good costumes, they're my weakness, and I have no issues supporting the game. Gabranth is actually the first that I've gotten in a while though, since Vaan's and Lenna's were old. I do absolutely adore Lenna's though. But alright, enough about my wasted expenditures. Let's go and see how truly cancerous this challenge quest is, because even with my characters, I'm pretty sure it's going to be still hard without Vaan's Burst. You can go check out my Chaos Co-op run in the description with Resfoina and the Broadway saying for how I know this. Alright, let's do this and pray it only takes one try. We're going to take Leviathan because the last wave is weak to water. We're going to take HP damage and it doesn't hurt to slow them down either. Get our buff up. Got a nice refund there. We'll go skill 2 first, of course. And let's go ahead and focus target B. And we'll get all their debuffs down. And our one skill use of skill 2, now he has all his buffs up and that beautiful refund there. So we want the all attack Western definitely to keep his debuffs on. So we'll just keep focusing on B right now. I'm gonna keep some of my Brave. And I'm gonna go the longevity route for now, so let's go ahead and HP plus into our EX. I'm gonna go ahead and make sure we avoid all debuffs, so skill 2 first. Now this will give me 100% debuff evasion when we use our plus version. Take that miss. And we can be a little bit conservative here. Let's go with the HP plus. And we can go with the EX here. As long as the other two have debuffs on, I'm not too worried about their Brave. No need to break them. They got the poison. I look at Vaan's Brave. Alright, so what we're gonna do here is we're gonna re-break him and get the 50% splash. Because his he's gonna come out of his debuffs soon anyways. Because we're gonna use the LD here. So they're all out of their debuffs now. So this is not going to actually do anything. I guess I'll battery Vaan a bit. And unfortunately this isn't going to splash as with the 50% or re-break, but let's go ahead and target one of them. They get stronger when one of them dies, so I'll keep them all alive a bit longer. say that, but I want to kill B right now. Yeah, let's go ahead and kill B. Because I gotta Brave Shave him anyways. Looks like we got some Brave Shaving to do. Might be just safer just to Brave Plus here. Yeah, it's fine. And let's shave him down. Yeah, let's break A and hurt C. And let's go ahead and get all my buffs up. Or let's not get broken. Yeah. And we'll let him die later by some splash or something. I think this is gonna be HP attack. Hopefully Lenna doesn't die. So I think I can dump my Brave though. Yep. We're all alive. That is good. Oh my god. Luckily they targeted Gabranth. Oh man, okay, goodbye C. We're gonna kill you and with some splash. Luckily he's targeting the person with the most health. Let's get our buffs back up. And his EX had a nice Brave refund as well. Now let's get his plus version of his White Whirl. Does he have his attack up buff still? No. Let's go ahead and get that up first actually. And he'll avoid getting broken as well. Then we can get our EX up with his HP plus. This will heal us, which is nice. I guess I'll get some refund here as well. It's good I did because this hurts. That hurts a lot. Very nice to get the refund there. Let's go ahead and save his EX. Alright. We made it out alive. Barely. Yeah, let's go ahead with his EX. We're both targeting Gabranth. Let's go ahead and get some more debuffs down on them. They both have... He has one turn left of Lenna's Windrakes. That's fine. So actually what I should have done was target A. We want to focus down one of them first. So let's focus down A first. Kind of want to apply this on them first so that they have 4 debuffs down, but it's okay. We'll go with the EX. So the splash was lessened and there was no re-break or insta-break there. Let's get our White World Plus up. Blind him. Ooh, I'll take that any day. Beautiful Vaan. Beautiful. Now let's get their buffs back up. So since they're both targeting me, and they're gonna counter me when I do act, I'm gonna have to just brave attack here. They'll hit pretty weak, with the debuffs on at least. Alright. So B is gonna go with the recast ability right after this. Let's go ahead and jump ahead. Still focus on A. Oh, her 91k, that's nice. They both got a recast ability now. I want him to go before Gabranth. So we just got Brave Plus here. And we can go ahead and get our refund and break out of order, which is fine. We can handle this. All our buffs are gone. Oh. The next time they do that, I'm gonna have to have Gabranth's AA up. Alright, let's get his buff up now and break them in order. I'll take that miss. And we'll go with the EX and heal ourselves. And let's get our buffs back up. A's coming on a break. Oh, well, that's high brave. That sucks. Alright, well. Well, we got our buffs up. They're gonna counter me here, so let's go ahead and brave attack so that we can go into our EX with high brave. Now we get our healing buffs up. Time for a nice LD use. Shave them both down. And this should give me a re-break and splash, but I don't want to re-break A. Here, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my AA. Or would that be a waste of an AA? I don't like this debuff being on me because they're going to break me and get some brave afterwards. I feel like using it later though. Fine. We're gonna wait till this debuff drives off. Okay, I don't have it anymore. Okay, now I have it again. Fuck. Alright, let's just take out A. Blind him, hopefully he doesn't hurt us too much. Let's get a bravery fund here. Good miss. Alright, got that recast ability up again. So we got two people with the counter debuff on. I'm not liking that at all. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna try to waste it all in summon. So I'm gonna use my EX here. It doesn't matter if I get broken because I'm gonna summon afterwards. Why didn't they counter? What? I'm confused. Well, I'm not complaining. Not gonna complain about that. And we're gonna try to see if we can smash down A. So they're countering that, so I didn't understand why they didn't counter my EX, but it's okay. I'm not complaining. Alright, let's get my buffs up. Let's break them, re-break them, I mean. We're losing our debuff, so they can't counter us too much. Use the EX here. Continually send them back. With the splash, very nice. So now Lenna has some free roam finally. Let's not get broken by B. He does have blind though, so that's good too. And we're gonna go ahead and get our bravery fund from skill 1. Perfect. He only got Gabranth. That's perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead and prepare for A's recast ability and get that counter buff off. Oh boy. That was good that we have the AA there. Now I'll use the EX to get his buff back up. Would have been nicer to start with more Brave. It's okay. So let's get his healing buff back up and shape him a bit. Oh wait, why did I do that? We have to make sure we kill A so that we didn't just waste a skill 2. Oh man. Or blind, make him miss at least. Let's keep focusing on him. Yeah, I'm gonna have to Brave Plus here. I won't be able to kill him, and I'm just gonna lose my buffs. It's fine. That didn't miss anybody. That sucked. Yeah, let's just go ahead and use the EX and get our buff up. Even though it's only 1 plus. So we can go ahead and get the healing buff again. We only got 1 more. I'm gonna get broken pretty badly though. I don't like that. Ooh, good thing we still have his AA on. Oh my gosh. That's not good. He needs the healing buff. I'm gonna get countered again. Alright, Gabranth, you gotta be able to pull this off. Make sure you shave them all. Oh boy. Oh boy. We're gonna need this refund here. I'm gonna need to do this twice. I don't want to die. Yeah, we gotta have to heal up. Because our buffs are about to be wiped again. Use the healing when I can still. And I don't want to use a red spiral because my buff's about to get wiped. God, the counter. Jesus. Alright, let's go ahead and kill A. Goodbye. Let's get our buff up finally again. Let's heal everybody up. And let's get our buff up and refund here. It's too bad he recovered Brave. This won't re-break him. Alright. LD. Let's go into LD so we can blind him. Let's get our healing buff up. Blind you. Alright, let's get the AA up. Last protection. So this shouldn't hurt so bad. We can insta-break you also. Yeah. We don't want to get broken, so I have no Brave refund ability here. Got a Brave plus plus. Miss us, please. Ah. Now our buffs are gone. Well, we got the EX here. I shouldn't have had the miss buff up before it got wiped. That was stupid. But it's okay. We have enough juice to kill him. Finally that debuff is gone, and now we can insta-break. You here? We don't need to. We need our buff up actually, so. I'm gonna heal myself and take the break. Heal everybody. Oh my god, I didn't know he was gonna do that. Good thing that wasn't so terrible. So we got this. Very good. So I had a lot of experience from the co-op and knew exactly what they kind of did, but still pretty damn hard. I would imagine it'd be a lot harder without Vaan or Gabranth. But I'm glad I have him, and I'm glad I barely made that 15,000 HP damage limit, because I would not want to do that again. That was a surprise HP attack that I did not expect. At the end right there, that would have ruined the whole run if it went over 15k. Luckily for me, my Lenna is 3-3, so she can heal on her EX. And these are my arts. Everyone's pretty good. Gabranth is the only one that's not perfect, or not the way that I want it. He has his own sphere and Vaan's whatever you call those shard spheres or whatever. If these can change to 108s, that would be lovely, just lovely. He has no spheres, but he does have perfect arts, and he does have his World of Illusion weapon. All of them have character boards. Lenna is fully sphered. My girl, she has her own sphere. Boosts Int Brave up for the party when she regens. And then after granting a buff, which she always does pretty much, everyone gets Brave regen. based on Inbrave, and she also boosts Inbrave, and here she boosts our max brave. This is the sphere I actually removed from Selfie, and now it's on Lenna, which actually can use this sphere pretty well. Alright, well, hopefully that helps the people with Vaan and Gabranth, how to play Vaan and Gabranth. And clearing this challenge quest is still not easy if you have both of them, but you do need at least Vaan's LD or Gabranth to do this, and I would say you'd probably need Gabranth more than Vaan because of Gabranth's debuff and HP damage reduction. That way Lenna can actually be able to heal everyone in time and you won't be able to get destroyed. Vaan's LD is just helpful for the huge damage she brings, but you could bring like a Waka or a Lock instead of Vaan. Lock also brings heals, which is nice. Balthier, there's nothing really for him to do. He can't really steal that many buffs because if you're not getting broken, then they're not even getting HP regen on the last wave. So yeah, I would say that Balthier is the worst choice. And Lock, if you have him 3-3, he's actually not a bad substitute for Vaan because he does have some damage and he can steal buffs, and he also has heals without relying on like a regen. So combined with Gabranth and Lenna, you should be able to do it with Lock as well. And then Waka, he does bring buffs and blinds, so he can also be useful as well. You just have to rely a bit more on blind RNG to probably beat this, since his damage is not gonna be as good as Vaan's, obviously. So good luck to everyone trying. I do feel that you only need Gabranth EX Plus for this, so don't have to chase Vaan's LD or his BT. It just helps. Anyways, everyone knows this is a cancer quest, and I wish everybody luck, and I will see you in the next challenge quest. Bye.